Hi there, Scott from Wessex. Thanks for joining me again. Lots on. Okay, first job of the day, because the stages are within the blades, it's more of preparing scales. One job needed a swedge put on it, a bit of an amendment on order. So I've made a start and putting it on, but one little tip about using jigs is this. Because the blade is so long, it's run out of room on the work surface to the belt. Because the blade is so long, I run out of room on the worktop with the blade still having room to fit on the belt. So the blade is mounted at one end of the jig. So make sure when you do it that you have an idea of getting the same points at both ends of the jig. So simply what I've done is the screws near the hole and the screws near the hole. I shall mirror those two screw points when I come over this side, and when I flip the blade around I shall ensure that the two holes are near the two screws. Because what happens if you've mounted it on a profiled handle, unless you've got it as a square billet, the blade could actually be situated a bit like that on one side. You flip it around and don't mount it in the same place, it'll be like that. So if you're doing your bevel, your plunge line will be slightly different, and if you're doing a swedge, it will really show up. So that's the job of the day, is to put a beginnings of a swedge for Ralph there onto this. As I say, normally I do the swedge very first thing. So I put the swedge on, whether it's sharpened or not, and then I flip the blade over and I put the main the grind of the blade on afterwards. And then what you got to do is get the transition point between the swedge that you're putting on and your main bevel to end up with that lovely straight line about there. So I've got a little bit further to go, and if I reach that point where that matches there and that matches the point, but I want this to go further, I should simply adjust the angle of the thing in order to not go any further down the point of the blade, but just bring the top of the swedge into the middle of the flip point. All fun and games. See you in a bit. There we go. So nice and slow, because I really wanted to take my time. That was the speed of the grinder, and I've literally just chewed it off. I haven't ground it crazy, it's been kept cool, because as it gets thinner and thinner, the last thing anybody would ever want to do is mess up your tip. So there's an unsharpened swedge. I don't want to go much leaner on the tip than that. There we go, it looks pretty cool, right? So, clean up the rest of the blade. I'm working on scales. Right, put on the bandsaw, cut these sections up for tool pins, going through the whole, the scales on, and then I'm going to just chamfer and tidy up the ends of them. When I get the first piece, I actually clean up the length of it first, so it's all done rather than separate. Now next one, that one's already been done before it gets sectioned up.
Number 6 by the WBO, he's the WBO European champion. Fight coming to the last 2 rounds, the momentum's all in his favour, he's going to seem to be the stronger. Convert into full retreat mode. And OA tried persuading him to step up, but Nieves wasn't taking the bait. He survived until the end of round 6, and his corner promptly stopped the fight.
Lovely for patients and families and the staff and volunteers.
It's quite peaceful out here.
So, ugly guckling time. What was it? 2 prepper knives, 1 leiku, more to come, and something for stew.